Hi Jasvinder, how are you?
I'm fine, you?
Thank you. So, how are your holidays going on? I think it's a term break for colleges.
Yes, we can't call it holidays. It is term break, which means university is in semester break.
Okay.
Term is used for holidays,
School holidays, yeah.
but that they use term. We call semester. There are two semesters in a year, and every semester has a mid-semester break, so that we give students opportunity to work on the assignments. And if someone is lagging behind, they can catch up.
Okay.
So right now, yes, it is a semester break, and there are 2 weeks of semester break. And this year, it coincides with the school term break, as well as with the TAFE term break.
Okay.
So TAFE school, in short, all the students are on break.
Are on break.
Yes.
So there are a lot more people we can see outside.
Yes, and weather is getting nicer as well.
Yeah, it's very good. So, I think you're working for Federation Square.
Federation University.
Federation University College, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a new name which is confusing almost everyone.
Federation Square.
Yes, yeah, it's confusing everyone. I would prefer to teach at Federation Square outside if it's a nice weather. But the university I teach is called Federation University Australia. It was originally founded as University of Ballarat.
Okay.
The town of Ballarat, where initially the Australian migration started in Ballarat because of gold mines. There was a gold rush.
Okay.
So Chinese and the English and Germans and many other communities came to Australia in that period. So that's where the Ballarat School of Mining was set up.
Okay.
And from the Ballarat School of Mining, University of Ballarat emerged. But a few years ago, not long time, few years ago, Ballarat University started taking over regional campuses, because Ballarat is a regional university, and it had a keen interest with support from the government to expand itself into other regions. So when it has started going into Gippsland and other areas, Churchill, so they had to change name, because if you are in the southeast, you can't call it University of Ballarat. So they changed its name to Federation University Australia.
It has a lot of background for it.
Oh yes, yes. Federation University has made very strong contributions to Australia. One of them is Steve Bragg's former premier. He studied there, and a famous Indian businesswoman Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw. She studied there.
Okay.
Yes.
Good to hear.
Yes.
So here, what subjects you're teaching at this point, or what you do?
So my qualification is in two different streams. I have bachelor in accounting, and then I have a second bachelor is a research degree, and my first master's was in computer applications, and then my second master's was in professional accounting, and third master was in commerce. So I can teach courses across the wide range of spectrum, but I primarily teach accounting information systems, where there's an overlap between computers and IT and accounting. And I teach, right now I'm teaching corporate accounting, where we look at how companies should be presenting their reports, annual reports, and other disclosures, and how corporate social responsibility is perceived by companies, pursued by companies, and we find evidence that whether they're really doing something or they're just presenting it in their annual reports. So those subjects I teach, but I have expertise in costing and pricing subjects as well, and also accounting fundamentals, accounting principles. I teach that subject as well.
Yeah. When you're talking about your degrees, I have seen that you got double degrees or triple masters.
Yes, triple masters.
So
and double bachelor.
Yeah. Are you passionate about studying, or it's a necessity that you had?
Well, I have been passionate about studies ever since I was at grade 1. What happened before I started going to school? My mother was teaching me at home for nearly 2 years. I come from a humble background as many other people, so my parents did not have the resources to send me to private school, where you send your children to lower grade, UKG, LKG, those classes terms are used in India. So, but my mother was teaching me at home.
Okay.
So when I went to grade 1, I stood first in the class because I had the highest mark. And even grade 2, I stood first without much effort. Well, that encouraged me, the sense of pride being the top one. And I have a record that right from grade 1 until masters, I was first in every class.
Okay.
The passion became due to the self-interest of standing first in the class. So, because I was always called into the stage as being the top student, I won the Best Student Award in high school. I won the Best Student Award in year 12, and I was awarded the overall Best Student of the whole college out of 3,000 students. When I did my bachelor in India. And when I did masters in India, I was top 10 in the university. And then also when I came here, I was one of the top performers at RMIT University. But answer to your question, initially, as a child, I just wanted to be the best on top, self-pride. But gradually, when you go into education and you learn new things, and knowledge basically makes you a better person. You make better decisions. You have better perspective of society, social issues. Then it became a passion. Learning.
Cool. So when you're talking about your childhood days, you're first in class, is it?
Yes, always.
So what about the naughtiness? Do you used to?
Oh no, I was always disciplined, self-disciplined.
Of course, when you see you now, definitely we know that. But what about the childhood?
Childhood was self-disciplined. I recall even when I was in year 6 or 7, I recall I always used to have a planning book. I will have a very small notebook, and on that day I will make these lines. I will call it date-wise, like today is October 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I will list things I have to achieve on that day.
Good.
And the things that I would not be able to achieve on that day, I'll move on to the next day. So planning, as a child, I planned my day, I planned my week, and and probably that's one of the reasons that even after studying in a Punjabi medium school, not the best in the region, I could still achieve what I have been able to in terms of education.
So from initial, you got the self-discipline in you.
Yes. I believe I learned that from my father. My father was in police, and that's a very, very highly disciplined job.
Okay. Yeah. Good. So tell us something about your childhood and where you came from and what's all your background. What made you to come to Australia?
Yes. So originally from industrial town of Ludhiana, where you have the foundations of Hero cycles, Hero Honda. Originally the family Munjal family comes from there. Oswald Mills, the Oswald family comes from Ludhiana, at a village just very close to my mother's village, and also it is known for motor parts and a lot of other industries. So I come from farmers background. My both parents are from Jat Sikh family. My father's father was a farmer. My father also did farming, but then he joined police at the age of 19. And my mother was both sides, despite humble backgrounds. Both sides had educated, very, very educated. Father's father, mother's father, and my mother's grandfather, and her aunties, they were all educated, and one of them was even nurse. So you can see in 1940s and 50s having a nurse in family, and then doctors. So although economically not very strong, but in terms of education, very, very strong. Women equality, issues of social justice were very, very big in our family. Politically very aware, not very active, but very, very aware as to what government should be doing and what policies are good. So I grew up in that environment. And then I was always busy in studies, because as you know, I wanted to come on top. And then for that, there was a lot of hard work. When I finished my bachelor's, in India, masters is always, everyone wants you to do masters. So I went for masters, and after masters, I got a job as a lecturer in a local college in Ludhiana.
Okay.
And then Australia opened up its immigration. And that stage, 1 year, if you study 1 year in Australia, you will get automatically PR.
Yeah.
So I came in that period, but then
2000s or something?
2005. I started planning in 2004 beginning.
Okay.
But I came in 2005 and in February. On 14th February I came, which is my birthday as well. So a number of important things in my life have happened around special days. I don't know whether it's a coincidence. On my birthday or some special occasions such as Diwali or Kartik Purnima, it's quite surprising that number of very, very important steps coincided with some very important days. So I find it very astonishing. So I came on my birthday after finishing 25 years in India, exactly. So from there on, I studied at RMIT, and RMIT, I finished 2 years at RMIT at the end of 2006. Well, when you say university education 2 years, it's not 2 years, it's each semester is 12 weeks.
Okay.
So 12 weeks first year and 12 weeks again, and then in the fourth semester, in October, university completes. So I got my grades, and then within 2 weeks, I got my first job.
After coming here?
Not after finishing my degree.
Studies, yeah.
Studies. But while I was studying, I did not do a lot of work. I did jobs as in a chocolate factory, packing. I did work as pizza delivery in the evenings, because my father said, and I knew that as well, because all my education career, I knew that education gives you the strength that no one can take away. And in our culture, Indian culture, we have seen examples of education transforming human life, and my father knew that as well, and my mother knew that as well. So I knew that if I have to go to Australia, I cannot work many hours and earn my fees and still try to balance studies.
Yeah.
So my father said, we'll take loan. So we took loan for my fees. It was $32,000 in 2005, quite high, because each year, $34,000. Each year the fees was $8,500. Each semester fees was $8,500.
Yeah.
So we paid that from bank loan. On top of that, my father withdrew money from his provident fund.
Okay.
So he would send me some money every now and then for daily expenses or living expenses. But I did some work. But during my studies, I think the question was, what did I do any job? I rarely worked. But when I finished at the end of 2006, October, you want to have some free time after such a hard, and I was thinking, this is my last degree.
Okay.
I will not go back to university again, because that was my 4th university degree.
Okay.
So a couple of weeks just relaxing at home, doing nothing. But then one of my friends, he was working at one of the call centers, and he said, "Oh, there's a position, you should apply." So I just applied, and I got the job. But I think I was not made for call center jobs, and I didn't like it a lot, because customers you had to be overly polite with even bad customers, and I found it very difficult to be, because I'm a very straightforward person, and if you're nice with me, I will deal with you. If you are being unreasonable, I decide not to deal with you. Yeah. But in such job, you don't have that option.
Yeah.
And so I was looking for other opportunities. So in November, December, January. So in January, one of my former friends from India, and he was a lecturer in India, senior than me. He had moved to Australia, and he got job at full-time permanent job at Central Queensland University. It's the university where a large number of Indian accounting students came, because accounting was in PR list.
Okay.
So I called him, I said, "Oh, if there's any job," and he said, "Yes, there is a job." One of our lecturers had left, and it was a casual sessional work, and we desperately need someone because our classes have already started. So when classes have already started and your lecturer leaves in the middle, it is very difficult basically because you can't postpone a class.
Yeah.
In the universities. Yeah. Unlike, and in the universities, if you're not there, no one else can do your job. Yeah. So it's a very, very difficult work environment that you have to have a lecturer. Yeah. Unlike any other meeting, we can postpone. So I went for interview and I was given a class. And I was 26 at that age, and when I went to the class, I had students over almost 26, 25. So first, students did not understand that I was teacher. So they did not stop talking. And I said, oh, I'm your teacher. They just thought it's a student is just making joke.
They just feel like, it's another student coming in.
Yes, and because it was predominantly Indian students, so they thought I'm just joking, and there were naughty boys in the class as well. So, but then I started teaching, and then they all calmed down. And I am still in touch with some of those students. Those students are now, settled in Australia, and they still look back at that time when I went to the class first day, and they thought I was a student who was just pretending to be a lecturer. So I started there, Central Queensland University, sessional job, casual job. They gave me only 3 hours. But university teaching is highly paid. It is because in class 1 hour, it also has outside class reading, marking, and a lot of other workload. So 3 hours, and then I continued working at the call center. But then what happened? Number of students went to their senior teachers and the center head, who was an Indian woman, and told her that we want Jasvinder in other classes as well. Because of my subject knowledge, they could relate to me as well. And then she called me and said, oh, what have you told them? They all want you in this class and that class. I can't give you all the classes. How many hours you can teach? I said, oh, whatever you want to give me. And she said, can you teach this subject, that subject? I said, yes, I have knowledge of it. And she said, how can you teach all those subjects? I said, test me. So and she started laughing, and then she gave me about 18 hours of teaching.
That was continuous?
No, it's not continuous.
It's in a week or so.
We usually have 2 hours classes.
Oh, okay.
A 2 hours class, so it was 9 classes.
Okay.
Well, 9 classes, that was straight away for a student who just came out of student life. Straight away 18 hours of class was $3,000 a week income.
That's good.
It is so highly paid.
Motivated.
So I thought, let's become a lecturer. And then I left the call center job straight away. And from there on, I haven't seen any obstacles at all until today. I worked 6 months as casual, because the problem with the casual job is, you can make $3,000 a week when university is on. But university is on only for 24 weeks in a year. And the rest of the time it's semester break.
It's more than that.
Yeah, so after the second semester, I had a semester break, second semester break, 4 months. And that stage, obviously, if you are not working, how will you meet your expenses? So I applied for a job and I went to India because Diwali. It was second Diwali because you always want to go back. First Diwali I missed was when I was studying in 2005. In 2006, I thought, after 2 years, let's go to Diwali. And I applied for a job, and I got a interview call 2 days before Diwali.
Okay.
And I bought my ticket.
Your auspicious day?
Yes, on the day of Diwali, I left India again. Okay. Another special day. And I got here, and I went to job interview at the end of 2007. I was teaching already from 2006, but that was all sessional.
Yeah.
And I have never been late to anything. And on that day, my alarm didn't ring. Because instead of 6 a.m., I put up 6 p.m. alarm.
Okay.
So at 8:30, I woke up, and the interview was at 9 in Ballarat, 1 hour drive from Melbourne. So I found it again very strong. I thought, I'm not going to get this job. So anyway, I called the school and said, I am late. And the whole interview panel kept waiting for me 1 hour.
1 hour.
1 hour. In 2007. So I thought, I'm not going to get this job. But I went there. They knew I was under stress. So they, instead of asking me questions about teaching and other things, they started asking me questions. How is weather? Did you enjoy the drive? So they kept me.
They tried to make you cool.
Yes. Fortunately, because I had taught sessional as a sessional at other universities, and some of these people knew me.
Good.
So anyway, we did the interview early November. November passed on, December passed on. I didn't get any information, and I was not working. And you can imagine when you're not working, you don't have an income. I didn't want to. Some people said, "Oh, come drive taxi, do this." I said, "No, I'm not going to do anything that basically puts my possibility of future career at risk." My father said, "We'll send you some more money. At the end of the day, stay home, eat at home. It's not a big expense." But on 24th December, a day before Christmas, as I said, there are a number of things happened in my life right around some special days. I got a call in the evening and I was offered a job, a full-time permanent job, and I worked for 3 years at University of Ballarat. And when I started working in January 2008, straightaway they made me in charge of a subject, 2 subjects. And those subjects were taught at 7 different locations. So it was a very senior role and I was quite inexperienced, but there were a number of senior professors there. They helped me. So 2007, 8, 9, I worked there, and 10. And at the end of 2010, I came to RMIT and worked there for 6 years. And I've now gone back to University of Ballarat because I liked there more than RMIT. Now I have been working there for 2 years. So overall, it's 12 years of teaching.
So it's a 12 years of teaching experience in Australia.
Yes.
So you might have seen in all of your experiences, personally, you might have experienced it when you were a student. You might have experienced some struggle.
Yes. What kind of struggle? Learning?
Any student will actually, once come here. I think you already told, your parents are very supportive to you.
Yes.
So majority of the students will actually struggle for, they come here, pay 1 semester in India and come here, and to pay other semesters, they just try to, work, get a job, work.
Yeah.
Only earning will be their main motive. So how do you see these people coming here only without, they want to study, but also they try more for, earn income and all?
Correct. The problem is, I think a lot of students and a lot of parents do not do homework. Homework, I mean study. They do not make enough inquiries, and they do not do enough research, and they just listen to the people who are just wanting to send you overseas. So number of students who come here, if they would have known that life is so hard there, we won't be able to earn money, settlement is not that easy, maybe some people will not come. Because I have seen students, after finishing their studies, keep changing their courses from one course to the other, studying for 6 years. What for? Just waiting for a time period when, what are they studying that might be under PR list, and they may get PR. So, nobody would like to have uncertainty in their life for 5-10 years.
Exactly.
Students who come here in their late 20s, early 30s, obviously they marry and they have kids, all living in uncertainties.
Exactly.
And to some extent, because the way students are guided from India and from other countries, that's not regulated. Because how I know is, in 2008, we asked the question to S.M. Krishna, the then education minister. In India, it's called HRD minister. Well, he said, we don't have a list of education providers who are sending students to Australia. So I asked him, well, how can you then have accountability? So answer to your question, number of students come here misguided or underguided. And I do not blame anyone because I also was guided to do a hospitality course, but I went online and checked and I thought, yes, hospitality might be very good for some people, but not for me. And I opted accounting because I could do, even in those days, 2004, internet was slow. I went to the cafe and I searched that accounting jobs are always in shortage in Australia. So I wanted to become a professional accountant. That's why I came here. So I believe the responsibility is also on individuals to basically make enough research and enough inquiries about their whole future.
As you're into, teaching for 12 years
Yes.
into industry,
Yep.
many students might be coming to you and asking for requesting for guidance and all.
Is that international students or?
International students or maybe from Asian or international,
Yes.
whoever.
So all these years, apart from Central Queensland University and Melbourne Institute of Technology, that was predominantly Indians, Nepalese, and Pakistani students. But since then, at University of Ballarat and RMIT, the students were predominantly, depending on what course I teach. If I taught the undergraduate course, they were all local students, majority. If I was teaching the master's course, then predominantly they were either students from China or from India.
Okay.
But yes, you're right. Your question. I created some assignments for students, and I created some short courses for students to learn how to settle in Australia, how to adopt professionalism, what are soft skills, what are interview topics, and how you prepare for interview, how you adjust yourself, how you adapt to different things. I did guide, not hundreds, I did guide dozens of students across these years.
Okay.
And some of the students have now settled, they have their own businesses, some of them are also economically very, very strong. Some of those students are running their own private practices, accounting practices, and some of them have entered businesses.
Good. That's very good. Inspiring. So, okay, so you were going very smooth in your lecture to the colleges and all, it's very good.
Yes.
So, I'm hearing a lot about this Let's Feed,
Yes.
the voluntary work,
Yes.
which I'm seeing these days all across Melbourne at least.
Yes.
So, what it is all about, when you're working, you'll be busy with your work and all. So, what made you to work as a volunteer or start this organization?
First of all, making voluntary work and doing contribution to the community has been part of my family. My parents and the grandparents, they were all parts of the different communities in India and contributing towards different social causes.
Yeah.
And so, with that social consciousness having inside your family values, I started helping whosoever was needy in 2007.
Okay.
So people who will come to me will say, "Oh, I've got this. I did not have insurance, car insurance, and I hit some car, and I got this $20,000 of bill now. And then what to do?" So I started helping them, started assisting them negotiate how with the insurance companies, and people would not have medical insurance because there was a gap that international students had to have medical private health insurance in first year, but in the second year nobody was checking them. So some students decided not to pay medical insurance. So if you have, I remember one student had his thumb was cut at work, and his boss at work, owner, sent him home. Well, then his thumb had developed infection, and then someone called me and said what to do. So how I started working was with individual cases.
Okay.
Because I was a lecturer at the age of very young age, 26, and a lecturer in Australia.
Yeah.
So people thought that I would know a little bit better, more than many people. So they would always call me, "Hello, sir," and as you know, the Indian culture, teacher is called sir.
Yes.
So I got the title of sir
Very good.
at a young age. Even children, the students' parents were calling me sir, so I became a universal sir. Like I remember my grandmother, everyone called her BB. Even the seniors of her age called her BB. So, and then I believe I developed an understanding of gaps. I developed an understanding that first year students do get medical insurance, but second year they don't decide not to renew it. It's a gap. It's a policy gap. Then I was exposed to the issue of family violence because female students, they were struggling with their assignments, they were having issues, and they would come and share with other students. Sometimes some girls had the courage to share with me as a teacher. As you know, teacher has a very respectful relationship. And basically for student teacher is next to parents.
Yeah.
So that exposed me to an issue that in Australia, if you are permanent resident or citizen, and you are going through family violence problems, then you are offered support such as safe home by the respective authorities. You are given legal guidance, you are given secure safety and all those things. But if you are not on permanent residence or citizenship visa and you are, let's say, international student, then the first thing they ask is, have you got Medicare? And you say no. And then the department and the respective agencies say, oh, we cannot help you. And that exposed me to at least 3-4 very difficult cases. In one case, this girl was an international student and had a 1-month-old son, baby boy, and her husband had left. There was no physical violence, but she could not work, she didn't have a car, and she was living in a rented unit. And someone called me, her nurse called me, because she was going to Sunshine Hospital. So a nurse called me and said, can you please visit her? I heard that you are doing a lot of work from the Sikh temple. Sorry, there's a gap in my story. I was nominated to a Gurudwara committee.
Okay.
I was on the committee because committee members across the different Gurudwaras said, can you please come on board and help us? You know, we need people like you, educated people, and who are ready to help.
Okay.
So I went there and I saw that in that home, she did not even have nappies. And then she didn't have any food. A little bit of food, what her hospital was giving me, but hospital said, Sunshine Hospital said, we can't offer her much. We are basically using whatever we have, some vouchers, because she's an international student and she's victim of family violence. We can only offer her what is, you know, available there. But as a victim of as a single mother, there are a number of things we can't offer. So that way, see, sometimes in your life you have triggers.
Yes.
It triggered me that it means it's a big gap. She may not be the only one suffering. And that exposed me to other problems. And then I started an organization called Jagriti.
Okay.
Jagriti, as you know, means awakening.
Yeah.
So I started with the former minister and approached her and I said, we need to do something and let's work on this issue. From Jagriti, Let's Feed emerged. Because through Jagriti, we were helping victims of family violence, and one of their needs was food.
Okay.
So we started helping them with non-perishable food, coals, fruits, cereals, breakfast materials, lunch, or lentils. So then I started working with agencies that were helping the needy.
Okay.
Then that exposed me to other problems. I found that in Australia, homelessness is a problem. We have 100,000 homeless people at any stage in Australia. And youth homelessness below the age of 26 is quite high, and it is rising. Homeless youth to the age of 14 can be seen. And I was exposed to social issues where I went along with the agencies that look after the people in need. And with my own eyes, I saw young people sleeping under the bridges, young people sleeping out rough in parks, and that exposed me to the social issue. And I thought, as you said, as one person, what can I do?
Yeah.
I thought, what can I do? Do I want to leave university job and work for social services? I thought, and then another trigger came. There are two very strong concepts in a culture. The Sikhism has langar. The institution of langar is basically meant for social problems like we were just talking, homelessness, and if there's a needy, if someone is not able to earn enough. And in Hinduism, there is a concept of Annadan.
Annadan, yeah.
So Annadan and langar, the basic principle is same, helping the needy. So the trigger came to me, and then I founded Let's Feed. The name came later, but the institution was formed many years ago.
Okay.
And we started helping whosoever needed food.
So is this actually only restricted to any community or region, or is it for anyone who are in need?
See, as I said, it's based on the concept of langar and annadan. Same. When you are doing annadan, do you want to know who the needy is?
Okay.
No.
So it's open for anyone.
It is open for everyone because that is the principle.
Yeah.
The principle is help the needy.
Yeah.
Donor can be Indian, donor can be non-Indian, the needy can be Indian, non-Indian, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So factually, a lot of Indian people are donating, but the needy people who are getting benefit is basically anyone.
Yeah.
Majority of the time, it's not Indian community.